with the trophy and with the historian. Welcome to the final show before the final game. I mean, Sandy, this is a game 5 coming up.
Unbelievable.
A standalone game 5.
Which we discussed yesterday. There haven't been many of these that I can remember.
I spoke to Marabia last night, and he was telling me how he used to do game 3, 4, and 5 in one day.
I remember that. There was a time in the early 2000s that was happening, and it happened a lot.
It happened a few times where you'd split the first 2 and then go to game 5, or a team would win the first 2 and go to a game 5.
Jeffrey Saka a lot of times used to pitch the 3 games.
Jeffrey Saka loved that, though.
Yeah,
Even now that he's older, he loves going long, all day long, 14 innings. We've seen it time and time again. He can do it. I don't like doing that because it's not our game. We usually play 2.
No.
If you have to play 3, we do. We had it a couple of years ago when the Lumber Kings versus One Hit got rained out on a Friday. We played that game early. Played it early on Sunday morning, and the winner played 2 against the Phillies. Lumber Kings won all 3 that day.
All right.
Now, in terms of the World Series, I don't remember a standalone game 5.
I always go back to the 80s, but there were a couple then. 84 Zip beat the Dirty Dozen. I just thought of one on the spot also. The 82 James Gang team defeated USA in the game 5. It was a standalone game.
Peaches couldn't remember if it was standalone.
It was. They played 1 and 2 on one day, and then 3 and 4. They split each week, and then played game 5. 82, 83, and 84. The series each went 5 games. The only difference was the 83 front runners. Game 1 was a standalone. Games 4 and 5 were together. And like I said, 82 James Gang, 84 Zip.
By the way, I love game 1 as a standalone. I mean, most of the times we have game 3 as a standalone because we play 2 on Sunday usually, 1 on Friday, but it doesn't always work like that. Last year we had the game 3 as a standalone. Swimming beat Lookout on the Friday game when Farkas scored from first. Allie got a late break.
And then they took care of business in game 1.
Game 1 on Sunday, which was game 4, of course. But it is interesting because NWO, they needed 5 games to win.
They beat
Orioles,
us. They beat that year was the Cyclones.
Yes, that was not me. I do not associate myself.
Us, meaning my team.
Yes.
Yes, that was 4 and 5 in one day. We won game 4 and then lost game 5.
The Orioles also, I believe, needed 5 games.
Wasn't a standalone.
The White Walkers is the most interesting. White Walkers had game 5 scheduled as a standalone. We were playing game 4 on Friday.
They finished game 4.
And then because Friday's game went 9 or 10 innings, we had to suspend the game. It was also one of the slowest 1-all games I've ever seen.
We finished on Sunday.
So we continued.
Played an inning.
We played 1 inning on Sunday morning.
That's sort of a standalone.
But it's so different because...
But they had to win a game.
The White Walkers ended up winning the game 4 and then dominating game 5 in blowout fashion.
Yes.
That was the White Walkers. Swimming, like we said, went 4. Swimming's the only series that went less than 5 in the last 5 years.
I'm just going back to the 80s. I can't think. I know 86, 87 didn't go 5. I don't remember. I don't remember another standalone game. I played in a World Series where we lost in 4. I mean, I can't remember it. I can't remember any other. It's a special day to have that game. To have a game 5 winner take all 1 game.
It's so interesting, and I wonder if Sunday wasn't the fast day. If we just say let's wait till Sunday and maybe do it in the afternoon.
I love a PM game.
Yeah.
We were toying with the weeknight this week. I mean, the weather's not great all week, but if we could have done a 5 p.m. or 5:30 p.m. game during the week, you would have had hundreds of people here.
I think Friday.
Well, Friday you'll have it.
Friday.
3 o'clock Friday. Are we playing here?
We can play here on Fireman's only if the camp, as you see, there's a bustling camp around us here. Only if the Ocean Township camp that they house over here is in session all 4 days. So far, it's been in session on Monday and Tuesday.
I think tomorrow will be the biggest challenge, I believe.
Tomorrow's the biggest challenge. Wednesday is the biggest challenge.
We need to play that game here.
And then Thursday has good weather. So if they have camp all 4 of those days, that means they don't have camp on Friday, and they'll give us this field.
Okay, I hope so.
I want to thank Lee and Maurice Zakaria. They have called everybody you could possibly call in this township in order to get an exception. Even if there is camp, let us play the last hour on one field. You see, there's no kids here anyway.
No.
There's nobody.
The kids are undercover now. I saw some
even
kids.
Farka and Abe Haber cannot hit a ball near where
I'd be willing to participate or chip in sending them on some sort of a field trip that day. Also.
Wow, sponsoring a trip.
I'd be willing to do that.
So bottom line is, it's really totally out of our hands. We've spoken to every important person in the township. You know how municipalities are, you know?
Impossible.
It is what it is. They won't give the field before 5 p.m. on a Friday. We don't have Sunday. It's a fast day. So we're going to either play on Ocean Court.
Yeah, we have to do it this week.
Here.
You can't drag it out to the following.
No one even wants to drag it out beyond this
It's
week.
got to be this week. And you know what? Friday, 3:30. If we're here, wherever we are, you'll get a lot of fans.
Yeah,
it'll be great.
I think you'll get the entire league, no matter where the game is this week, because it's like we said, you don't have to wait for the results of Game 4 to see if you're going to come to Game 5. You know it's one game. And now let's talk about the game itself, because first of all, there's not much to talk about from games 3 and 4.
Very uneventful week.
2 blowout games. We had a nice crowd. You saw from the highlight videos, most of the videos on the crowd, because
not the best softball, no.
No, blowout games in both. The big first inning by the Kakambas in Game 4, highlighted by A.B. Hollywood, the weapon. Once again, what a pick it was when Jack Abadi took him in the 10th round, or whenever he took him. Who would know that would change the season for the
Unbelievable.
Kakambas? That pick, not his pick of Jake and Mark and Abe Haber and Saul Fallis and
you always say that's where you win.
This is later than where I say you win. I say you win in the 5th, 6th, 7th rounds. This guy went later than that. He has been the clutchest, most important player on this team, and he catches, and he makes plays at the plate.
I mean, like you say, the week was a couple of standout things in each game, but really, and take nothing away from the pitchers. Each pitcher pitched amazing in their respective wins.
Yeah.
Leo came out, got in a little trouble in the first, and then really didn't really sniff a jam after that.
It's funny, Sam, you mentioned the pitchers. My first thing is to say Leo pitched better in his game because it was a 1-0, 2-0 game.
It was a close game
for the
for
majority
a while,
of the game.
yeah.
But then again, AB had to pitch knowing that it was an elimination game.
Big performance. He did step on the mound with a 5-0 lead.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's softball, and 5-0 is not an insurmountable lead. They tacked on very little after that. But like you say, just nothing really to discuss. I mean, not a lot to discuss. I thought I have a particular moment in Game 3 that really, to me, turned the game. And it was, I believe, the 3rd inning. Knights already led 1-0.
Right.
And A.B. Jeff was up with man on third, 1 out.
Mm-hmm.
And we were saying how, they got to get out of the inning with 1 run. The Kakambas, can they do it? He popped up. It looked like the Kakambas were poised to get out of it. They didn't. Joe Eshko, a huge 2-out hit, gave them a 2-0 lead. I thought it deflated the Kakambas.
Yeah,
because they, lead off double in that inning, you sign for 1 run, but when you can sniff getting out of it with nothing and then you don't, it sort of deflates you. They came in, really nothing else after that. All pop-ups,
Joe
all lazy
Eshko's
fly
such an
balls.
interesting player, Sandy. I know he loves Derek Jeter. He wears number 2. He's a huge Yankee fan and everything. There are players that rack up the stats, but when it's a clutch moment, don't come through.
He does.
And then there's a Jeter type of player. Jeter, never had 40 home runs. He wasn't that type of player. But you knew there's one guy you wanted at the plate with the game on the line. This guy, Joe Eshko, has come through so many times this season, last season, previous seasons. I don't see him batting. I don't know what he bats. I doubt he bats over 500. He's never like in the MVP conversation or anything like that. but look back at how many clutch hits he's had over the years for the Lumber Kings, for Cold Blooded, for this team. I mean, that hit was huge. You're so right.
I thought that was the game.
Jacob called it an unforgivable pop-up by
and
Abe
now
Cohen.
Nobody's talking about Abe Cohen. They tacked on a couple of runs after AB had one of the RBIs, I think, on a sac fly. He didn't really drive the ball as much as I'd like to see him in that at-bat either. But you know, I thought after that it sort of ended the game. And then, you know, obviously game 4, that first inning, Kakamba's coming out like they needed to. Hollywood really getting the big hit, because to that moment they had gone 2 full games really without scoring, because they scored 2 runs in the first inning of game 2 before they recorded an out.
Yes.
Then they didn't score again, and then they didn't score the whole game 3.
You're right.
So they were starving for that big hit. Hollywood got it, you know, and then they got a couple of other clutch 2-out hits after that. Really put the game not out of reach, but you know, made it very difficult for the Knights to come back.
They definitely, the Knights dug a hole for themselves there. First of all, leading off the game, ground ball to Hank, unable to make the play to get Jake.
Happened also in game 1.
Yes, so Hank is not having his best series, but I want to circle back to that, because anyone that's not having their best series or their best year, or anyone that is having their best series or their best season, it's all history.
It doesn't
one
matter.
guy, you're down to a sample size. That's nothing. You're down to a 1-game sample size, meaning anyone could go 3 for 3 in a single game.
And that's what you'll remember.
You know, whether it's Ike Batesh batting 4 for 6 in games 3 and 4, that's all history also. Even if you did good.
Did
Even
he
if you're
bat 4
lower,
for 6?
He went 4 for 6.
He predicted it.
He
Yeah.
predicted 4
Wow.
for 6, and he went 4
Good
for
for him.
6. But bottom line is, Abe Soroya could out-hit David Farka in 1 game.
And
It
then,
could happen.
you know, and then
it's the biggest game.
there's that potential to be, you know, the guy that, God forbid, makes a crucial error or comes up in a big spot and doesn't come through. I mean, there's so much riding on this 1 game, and that's what makes it so special. You know, you got to just see how it lays out. We said going in, it was a very evenly matched series. I don't want to say we've seen the best softball, because 3 of the games really weren't good at all.
I wanted to get to that also, Sam. We've had 1 close game.
1 close game, and there was controversy in that game. I mean, it hasn't been the best series, we have to be honest. But you know what? We're going to a game 5, winner take all. That's very exciting.
The series has been building up to this moment, because
Right.
we've had 3 blowout games. Although game 1's blowout was close in the middle of the game,
So was
and then
game
the
3's.
Kakambas ran away with it. So was game 3's. It was sort of close, middle of the game. Let's talk about the game.
But just if you go back to, I was watching the video of game 3.
Yeah.
Go to Maurice Haber in the 3rd inning.
Yeah.
He was sort of saying like, it's over. This game is over.
I disagreed with him.
I know, but there was that feel. I'm telling you, after the Knights got that 2nd run, there was that feel to the game that they controlled the game. Leo was very sharp also.
Leo was great.
I mean, we really don't talk about Leo enough. When he's on, he's very effective, and he pitched a great game. He's facing a very potent lineup.
Yeah, you know what?
It's very hard, and you know, give him credit. He pitched a great game, and then give AB credit, because he pitched a great game. He's pitching against a very potent lineup.
For sure.
2 very good performances. Trying to just find something in the week, you know, to go on. But
It's very odd, Sandy, that with these 2 pitchers and these 2 offenses, we haven't had a 7-6 ball game yet.
No,
We've
not
had
at all.
6-0, we've had 7-0, we've had
13-3 or
13-2
whatever it was,
whatever, and then one
3-2
low-scoring
game.
game.
Yeah.
So, but again, anything could happen in the final game. Anything could happen in any game of softball.
Smart money's on a low-scoring final game. You know, I think guys are a little tighter, at least to start. But we'll see what happens. I mean, I think it's going to be a fun day. It's going to be a great day. These guys, great players on the field, all-stars all the way through. I'm very excited for it. As you know, I had to be called off on a little bit of duty during Sunday.
Yes.
And I was praying for a game 5. Got my wish. Get to see more softball and call the game with you on Sunday.
Yeah. Okay, Sandy, let's go through the first inning again, because that's really where this game started and ended. Error by Hank to open the game. Marty Jamal thinks Jake would have been safe anyway, but I think a routine ground ball to short, if you make the throw with Hank's cannon, you get Jake. Jacobati then comes up, rips a double. Mark takes his walk, and then Solly takes his walk for the first run of the game. Now, next guy comes up with, again, another unforgivable pop-up. Who hit that pop-up? Abe Haber. Abe Haber, terrible pop-up there, bases loaded. I mean,
that's when you start, that's as a member of the Knights, that's when you can turn the game. That's when you start thinking, you know what? Let's somehow get out of this, and we ride this to the championship if we can.
Yeah, let's get a ground ball to third.
That's why Hollywood's hit was so big.
But before Hollywood's hit, there was major controversy. Timeout was called.
Yes.
Timeout was called. I was on the right sideline. I heard the timeout. Terry and Leon, the first and second base umpires, one of them called time, and the other one yelled time, and they put their hands up. Play then resumed.
Yeah, this was the wrong call.
I was watching it, and play definitely resumed. I had no idea. Mark Braha, the runner on second, claims he wasn't looking, and the umpire wasn't looking.
I think this was totally the wrong call. Clearly, time was called. I don't care if he was in the box. Time was called. A guy can ask for time and stay in the box. Doesn't have to step out of it.
Right.
Not that he has. I'm just saying. I thought the explanation was weak, and I thought this was the wrong call that went against the Kakambas. It didn't hurt them, but time was clearly called.
So it's very hard to find the rule. I've been trying to research it. I found a couple of things. Some say that if play resumes and the play was not affected, that the play stands. So you look at what happened, and if it was not affected by what happened, by
But how do you know?
How do you know? In this case, you have to know.
The guy was in the box, but was he?
No, the batter was aware that the pitch was coming.
Right, but I'm saying, but was he fully aware?
Yes.
Did he just see it coming and
yes.
swing?
The only people unaware were Mark Braha at second, and maybe the short center fielder, maybe Ruby Saka. There was a couple of fielders and a runner that was unaware. The batter was definitely aware. If you look at the film, he's ready to bat. Leo pauses before he pitches. Play looks like it resumed. Like, I heard him call time, and then I saw the play resume a couple of seconds later. Therefore, I felt that play resumed. I didn't know that people on the Kakambas were going to say they were not ready, which they weren't. If Mark Braha says he wasn't looking, he clearly wasn't looking. He wasn't ready, and you could tell from his reaction, it's a real reaction, that he was shocked.
So you're saying if he gets doubled off.
So apparently, I don't know if that's the real rule. That's what I found on the internet. I've been trying to research.
So they were better off getting doubled off if that's the rule.
Yeah.
And then you could say, you know what, we weren't ready.
Exactly. So I called a couple of umpires. It's very hard to find where one ump. It's not like when a player calls time.
Yeah, the ump didn't give the ump time.
The ump didn't give the ump time. So if anyone can find
but the fact that it was screamed like emphatically time,
Yeah.
But so I don't know. I mean, look, it doesn't. It didn't affect the game.
So the umpires claimed time was granted, and then play resumed.
Got it. Okay.
Although they didn't say play ball. Do they always say that? I don't know. Bottom line is, line drive was called as an out. Okay. And now they have one run in, and now there's 2 outs, and that's why Hollywood's hit is so big. 2 outs.
Also, they were starving for a hit. They were up 1-0 at the time, but really not a big hit yet. They really hadn't had a big hit since Mark Braha's hit in the first inning of Game 3.
Right.
So, they needed it. They really needed it.
In game
2. I'm sorry. Game 2. Yeah,
right.
Not Game 3. So they needed it. I mean, that was the game at that point. Credit them. They tacked on.
You know what? So at 3-0, then Ike Patesh hits another ground ball to Hank. And he doesn't make that play either. I thought he could have still thrown it. Ike Patesh is pretty slow.
Yeah.
Hank
I thought so too.
Didn't field it cleanly and didn't make the throw. I was very surprised he didn't make the throw.
I thought he might have had him as well. Hank obviously felt differently.
I wonder if he knew who was up. I'm sure he did. He's
a
professional.
Yeah.
So he had a rough inning, and that's all it takes when you're breaking down these games, because these games are under a magnifying glass, under a microscope.
No, it all happens in one inning.
Now, can you imagine Game 5? I mean, every hit, every inning, every guy that gets a 2-out walk moves the lineup one batter. Like everything is under a microscope now. Even the innings you don't score, if you get on, you get your big boys up. Farka's coming up sooner. Jacobati's coming up sooner. Like it's everything.
And the
is so
littlest
important in one
thing
game.
could change. Could make your whole season. Like the play on the tree. You leave here. It's 1-1. It's a long series. Even now. Okay, we're up 2-1. We didn't play our best game in game 4, but we have game 5. That's it. All that's out the window, and there's nothing that's forgiving here.
And you know what? The series is now as short as it could be. It's one game. It could come down to a call. It could come down to a call. I pray that it doesn't.
I hope it doesn't.
You hope it doesn't.
It's been a little bit of a weird series.
Yeah.
With that, again, whoever wins. But let's just hope Friday we have a good game, no controversy, no weird calls, no weird things happening. There's been a few things that have been a little wacky.
I'm forgetting one. There was another one also in this game. It didn't matter. Oh, the automatic dropped pop-up.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw this. So this, trying to get a double play and you drop the ball, that's a judgment call up to the umpire.
You can't just guide it to the ground.
No, you have to either let it drop or hit the other side of the glove and let it drop.
It can't just be I caught it and then I threw it down.
But don't quote me on this because it's a judgment call by the umpire. It's a judgment call. That is the rule. That was easy to find out. And bottom line is if it hits the heel of your glove, like Max Sutton said, it's an easy call for the umpire that you dropped it on purpose and you deceived the runner,
right?
Etc. But if everyone just runs out their high pops,
nobody will do it.
You won't have a problem because we have infield fly when there's 2 men on. When there's 1 man on, just run.
The only way they would do it is if a slower runner batted, and okay, so now you still have a man on first, though.
Exactly. So there's been a lot of that this game. It could come down to a play. It could come down to a call. Neither team has played phenomenal this series.
No, and I think they'll tell you that.
They left
They've
it
had
down
spurts.
to one game.
They've each had spurts. I think the Kakambas have had more spurts than the Knights. Because, the Knights, that game 2 we've talked about, they really didn't do much. Game 3, they got a couple of big 2-out hits. Max Sutton and Joe Eshko, both with hits. They tacked on, but it wasn't a dominating performance. They haven't had their game yet, I don't think.
No.
The Kakambas will tell you game 1 we played our game.
Mm-hmm.
Even game 4 we played our game.
Right.
I don't think the Knights will tell you we've really played yet the way we can.
But you know what? The Knights are saying that the games that they won, they played great, and the games they lost, they gave away the games. That's how they feel.
Well,
they feel that like
I don't know how you can say you gave away 2 games that you were essentially blown out in.
It's the Teddy Ishak as of, any game you lost was because of you, any game you won because of you. Like, it's that type of thing. But
I don't feel that. I don't feel that way. I think the series should be 2-2.
Me too.
And I think each team hasn't done enough to win the World Series yet, and somebody has to win it on Friday.
Yeah. If anything, it should be 3-1 Kakambas with the tree.
If anything, you would say that the Kakambas are playing better in the series.
Yeah.
But they had 2 games where they really took off. They took the day off at the plate.
You know what? In the beginning of the series, Marty wasn't doing much. In games 3 and 4, Farka, who was the star of the postseason for this team, he had the pickle play in the LCS.
He had the big hitting
game. He had, of course, the crazy triple/home run in game 2 after the tree. He went 0 for 6 in games 3 and 4.
Wow.
He went 0 for 6, couple of flyouts. I mean, not he hit one deep to center, but
I saw that.
So it's just very interesting that it's going to come down to who could really get it together for one game. But how? The question I have to ask you is how do you approach this game? You've been playing all year. No one's cold. Everyone's been playing constantly. Everyone's hitting the cages.
There's nothing
How do you go into a Friday game that doesn't start till the afternoon with all this pressure?
You know what? You can give all the cliches and everything. Just another game. Play our game. Just like a regular season. Whatever you want to tell the team, they're gonna get here. If they're worth anything, they're gonna be a little nervous. There's gonna be some butterflies. If you don't have butterflies on Friday, it's time to retire.
Oh, 100%.
If you don't have butterflies in your stomach, you don't have to be throwing up, but if you're not a little anxious, don't sign up next year.
What about the mind games? Because I was on the Expos, which, by the way, 8 years ago today, we won Game 3 to win the World Series.
I was the manager, Norman.
We swept. It was today, 8 years ago. So, Sandy, when we approached that Game 3, I was so nervous. We were up 2-0. I was so nervous because I said, if I don't win this Game 3,
you don't want to start.
We play Game 4 on the same day. They're gonna have all the momentum. Then, if we lose both, how can we go into a Game 5?
Absolutely.
I was a nervous wreck going into a Game 3. I can't imagine going into a Game 5.
I think that's a little different than this. I think because you don't want to blow it. I think it's different when you're up 2-0. There's always in the back of your mind, we're up 2-0, but we got to take care of business right now, or we could be in trouble. 2-0 becomes 2-1, becomes 2-2 in 2 seconds,
right?
And now they're the favorite. So it's a little different, but your point's well taken. When you have a shot to get your name on this baby right here, you got one game to do it. You're gonna be nervous. You're gonna be a little tight, and those who handle it better, they're gonna win. That's the bottom line.
I'm shocked that the Knights, after they won Game 3, they're up 2-1, they have a chance to win the World Series, put up a goose egg in Game 4. I don't care. They went down 5-0. They played bad in the field, that inning. But why couldn't they get it to 5-2? And then it's a game.
You gotta credit the Cucumbers. I hear you. You gotta credit the Cucumbers.
I didn't even see a rally. I didn't even see a ball hit well. I didn't see anything. I saw, let's get to Game 5.
I'm with you. I mean, look, the Knights, if they don't win the World Series, you're going to have to go back to last week and say, we had this team on the ropes. They didn't score in 2 games. That was our shot, and we blew our shot there.
You make such a good point. You just said a few minutes ago that the Cucumbers played the better series. At the same time, they went 2 full games without scoring a run.
They did.
They went 2 games. They scored 2 before they recorded an out in Game 3. They then went 7 innings, 0 runs. They then went 7 more innings in Game 3. So the end of Game 2 and the beginning of Game 3 is basically 14 innings.
It is 14
runs.
innings. Not basically.
It's 14 innings of no runs after they scored. And
they did.
Still you're saying they're playing better.
Their wins were more resounding than the Knights, I guess.
Yes.
When they look good, they look better than the Knights when they're winning in this series. But it doesn't matter, because you got one game now, and I think that's a scary thing for the Cucumbers because I don't think the Knights have played their game yet. Right. And if the Knights come and play their game, could be scary for them.
When are we going to see Marty, Farka, AJ?
We haven't seen it.
All get on base.
We haven't seen it.
Inning.
And I don't. And if it's going to be very hard to hold them down for 5 years. Has that ever been done? To hold those guys down to not have them erupt together for 5 games.
It's probably never been done for 4 until now.
So who knows? I mean, look, if the Knights come out and play their game, they're a dangerous team. Combine that with Leo, it's a dangerous team. Cucumbers, same thing. They both have the potential to be great. I don't think either team has been great yet, and I'm hoping both come out great on Friday.
Week 1 of this World Series, the home team won both games. Week 2, the road team won both games.
Don't care.
Gotta assume Jack Abadie will take last licks in a Game 5.
If he doesn't, and he's planning not to, call me, Jack. If you're planning not to.
Because he could say we scored 5 before they even got a chance to bat.
Okay, I've said it a million times.
But this is a Game 5.
It is a scared tactic. It is a scared tactic.
And if you get to the 6th inning in a tie game, don't you want licks? Don't you want to be batting in a tie game, bottom 6, bottom 7,
if
bottom
I'm playing
8?
a team in Game 5 that has the home field advantage and they give it to me, game's over in my mind. If I'm the other team, this team is scared of me.
Can you imagine the Knights could have been they were the 4 seed entering this playoffs, and they may get home field advantage in Game 5?
I don't think he's going to do it.
I don't think so
I don't think he's going to do it.
But he might.
He
might. They
Chucky,
scored 5.
I'd be very surprised if Chucky and Jack do that. I would be shocked. I think it's the wrong move. Win or lose, it's the wrong move.
Win or lose, you think it's the wrong move?
Absolutely.
I agree with you. I would never give up licks. But I know there's a school of thought out there that you want to give up the licks. Okay, advantage A.B. Cohen or Leo Casson in a 1 game on Friday?
people say AB with the experience, but Leo is not lacking experience either.
Leo's not young anymore. He's a veteran in this league.
He's also played in 2 of the last 3 World Series. He's played in a Game 5. It's a tough call, Norman.
He's won the World Series with the Walkers.
Yeah, it's a very tough call. I think you've seen similar series out of each guy, on off a little bit. I think AB's probably pitched a little better. He's held the Knights down a little more than Leo has. I don't have a clear advantage on this right now.
Okay. Bigger advantage from the top of the orders. You're talking Jake, Abadi, Mark,
Jeez.
or Marty, Farka, Abe Cohen.
Again, same thing. Those 2 tops, if they're both on, they're the same.
Okay.
They're the same damage.
Middle of the order, you're talking Solly Fallis, Solly Towel, Abe Haber, Sol Fallis, Hollywood, or you go to Joe Eschko, Hank, David DC Cohen, Mo Harari.
Wow. Maybe the Knights have a small advantage there. Very small.
And then bottom of the lineup, you're talking playoff Bensta and Eddie Turner, or you have DK, you have Ike, the law firm. The point is,
by the way, you can't. None of these. They're all even.
That's the point.
Yeah, they're all even. They are. I can't pick who I'd rather have. If I were managing, and you said, manage one. I can't pick it on paper. I can't.
And then you can't pick the intangibles either, because
No.
How good has Farka been in the postseason last couple of years, despite this past Sunday? How good has Farka been on swimming and on this team in the postseason in a clutch game and in a clutch moment?
For sure.
And then you look at Jack Abadi, guy doesn't get out. And then what about like a guy like Jake DeWeck? You know how many fly balls he flagged down in center field? But
Yeah.
I mean,
it really, the way you just outlined it, it's really such an evenly matched series. One game, these 2 teams, it's really unbelievable.
even like just third base, David DC Cohen versus Solly Towel. I've seen both these guys make tremendous plays.
Yeah.
I've seen both these guys make a couple of errors here and there. You want to go to short, I have to give the advantage to Mark Braha, but Hank, not taking anything away from Hank. Hank in his day was a phenomenal shortstop, but he's twice his age right now.
Agreed.
Short center, you go in Abadi over anybody, but Ruby Saka tied him defensively in Gold Glove last year. Might even be better defensively than
He's
him. Who
unbelievable
knows?
defensively.
Second base, you have Joe Eschko, who is struggling with his throws.
Yeah, he hasn't been his best in the field yet.
Versus Abe Soroya.
He's made a couple of very good plays.
And then first base, you have just the X factor. You have Sol Fallis, and then you have Morris Harari. I mean, this is like the 80s watching MLB. Always the big slugger who was at first base, right?
Yeah,
like the bopper. And then the 2 best outfields in the league. It's Marty Farka, Abe Cohen, DK, Jake, Abe Haber.
I hope we have a back and forth, just great game on Friday. Crisp, good baseball, clutch hitting, big outs. I'd love to see it. That's really what I'm dreaming of. And I don't know who's going to win.
I have no idea who's going to win either. I made my prediction before the series. The only thing I was confident about was that this would go 5 games. To predict one game is foolish. Anybody could win one game.
It's a pick'em game.
Cherokee's Tribe could beat either of these teams in one game.
Maybe not.
In one game. I think they could in one game.
I don't know.
Not Cherokee's Tribe, but like Time. A terrible team like Time could beat either of these teams in one game.
Your point's well taken. Anybody can win a game.
Anyone.
It's silly to pick because, it's Game 5. They're both great teams. It's really a flip of the coin,
Sandy,
I think, at this point.
Morris Shama mentioned a team that blew a 9-0 lead in Game 4 and then came back the same day and won Game 5.
That was Leonard Skinner?
I think so. It's either that team or Insane. We're live here with Morris Shama, the obvious leader of this ball club. Morris, how does it feel to win? I think it's your 4th or 5th championship. How does it feel?
It feels unbelievable.
Today,
this is my 6th championship.
6th, okay.
I gotta say, this is definitely the best one yet. Coming down, we were up 9-0.
Yes.
I didn't think we had a shot in the second game. We came out strong, 6-0 defense as all year. We took care of business.
I got to tell you, Morris, I never saw a team that blew a 9-0 game late to clinch the World Series, and then you were able to come back and win in a professional 9-0 manner. What went on between games that got your team believing again?
Just team meetings, calming us down. Marty was there for us. Chucky, managers. All year. We're just like that all year.
Well, Morris, you're one of the best in the league. We'll see you tonight at the award ceremony. Congratulations. Also, Sammy Big Cash had mentioned that his team was down.
That's true.
10-0.
I saw that on the
Golden Jets.
Golden Jets. That was the best team in the league. 21-2. They lost 2 games.
Yes.
I know Sammy said 1. They lost 2 games. It was actually on the old trophy, the skinny one, the skinny cup. When they had 2 of them, the record was on the plaque. They put the record because it was the best record in the league. 21-2. I had it in my house for 2 years in a row.
There you go.
I remember looking at it. But yes, they were losing 10-0 after the first inning of Game 1 of the World Series. Crawled back, won 11-10, and then coasted the rest of the series. That was against Reds Crunch. And he had a very young outfield, included a Jackie Eshko. Jackie Eshko, I believe it was his rookie year, maybe second year. I think Dougie Goldenberg was also on that team.
Yes, he was.
Maybe Meyer Asulin. It's not on the trophy. They lost to Golden Jets.
Teams has a different story. Like Untouchables was ravaged by injuries. That's the Jacobatti, Chucky, A.B. Dweck,
Yeah, that was
Mark Praha.
Yeah,
They were destroyed by injuries. In those days, we replaced everybody with anybody. They got Nathan Batesh, they got this one, they got that one. But they chose not to replace their pitcher. They gave the ball to Jackie Malabe, and they won the World Series with it. Unbelievable.
This team also won a crazy sack attack, that crazy play off the gate. Remember that?
Holy cow.
The ball bounced off the gate, came right back to the catcher.
The ball was from right field. It was a terrible throw. There's no way the guy would be out at the plate. It hit the other gate. It hit one of these 2 gates behind us.
Came back, right
to the catcher, out at the plate.
Was that how the World Series ended?
Yeah, definitely how a game ended. I don't know if that's how the series ended.
That's a crazy way to win a series. I mean,
I think it is how it ended.
One of the more famous endings was '84.
Yeah.
When Zip beat the Dirty Dozen. The game ended on an overthrow. Shortstop Victor Zilberman at the time was trying to turn 2 to send the game to extra innings. He was going towards the bag. He touched second, threw to first. The runner coming into second came in like this. Not called. Was no argument after the game either, but it was clear that he did it. He threw the ball over Tito Atis' head at first base. Runner from second came around to score. That was a walk-off game to end Game 5.
That's a famous finish because they did not argue it in the moment that the guy put his hands up.
But the other team today, Eli Gindi, was on that team, was on the winning team.
Yes.
I spoke to him a couple of months ago. We were talking softball, and he remembered that play and said the guy went in.
Yes,
went in
yes.
like this.
They all agree it happened, but not till years later did that become the
on
thing.
the spot. I remember my father, but never said we lost because of that or anything like that.
One thing I noticed from the old videos you've been sending, and if anyone has old videos, any game,
Please.
doesn't have to be World Series.
Because I've been questioned a few times. The only way to prove me wrong is to please send in the old newsletters, pictures, whatever it is. Morris Caston and A.B. Sackett did an amazing job with that stuff.
Yes.
Send it in.
Jackie J.D. Dweck has newsletters this thick for you to give you.
The newsletters were unbelievable.
Yes.
Used to wait for them to come.
Oh my God, in the mail. Okay, so Sandy.
What were you saying though?
What was I going to say?
Something you noticed in the videos.
Oh, I hear your father in the background screaming, "Hit the ball on the ground! Hit it on the ground!"
Did you hear that? No, we'll get it now. Sambo's got the fly by Leon. That's out. That was Elliot Batesh telling that story. Let's keep the ball down, boys. Elliot, let's go. Come on.
You see guys flying out lazily to center field and left field. It's never been the formula. It's never been.
Low and hard has always been the formula.
Low and hard, like RB said so brilliantly. There's no bumps in the air. There's no overthrows on fly balls. You got to hit the ball hard, low, and then when you do your real swing, once in a while that ball will just explode. It will just go.
Yeah, for sure.
But
low and hard, especially in softball.
Especially if you're batting 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. You
And
gotta
if you're
hit the ball
fast,
down.
if you're fast and you hit the ball on the ground, the fielder's naturally panicking. So it's just silly.
I remember Saban's first World Series. He was playing first base. The game was being played at Memorial. And there were those who said it was a close bang-bang play at first. there were those that said that on his stretch he may have come off the bag, but the celebration ensued, and that was history. At the time, there was a thing that Saban had never won yet. It was his first World Series.
And he's too much for a team to handle.
Yeah.
But I never subscribed to that on Saban.
Even if we're at Oceanport, last year we had the World Series at Oceanport. We've had clips in Logan Road, of course here in Fireman's. We've been in
Logan was a big field back in the. I lost the World Series on Logan.
Yeah, I played a World Series on Logan also. We've been on Dow. We've been everywhere. We've been on Memorial. So we'll see where this year takes us. Weather looks good. Camp is in session over there, which I love to see.
We're 2 down. We got 2 to go. We got to try to get. It looks like Wednesday is going to be our biggest challenge.
Okay.
So let's try to get it through. Norman, it's been a great season.
Yes.
And it all comes down to one game, which it should. I'm very excited for it. I love these 2 teams. I love the way I love their whole way with each other. The series, by the way, there's none of the talking to the other team and all that. I love it.
Yeah.
I think they're each focusing. When they fight within themselves.
Yes.
Which is okay.
And both teams fight within themselves.
Which is fine. I love that. I love the intensity. I love to see it. I hate when the pitcher is yelling at the other team, and then I hate that.
I hate both. I hate when the pitcher is yelling at the other team, and I hate when the pitcher is best friends with the other team.
Yes, correct.
You gotta want to win.
You got it.
You gotta want to win.
Right,
you know?
right.
And these 2 teams want to win. When
They
you
do.
see both the benches when they're losing, not one smile on a losing
I love
team,
it. I love
which
it.
You want to see.
And they're gonna leave it all out here. I think these are the 2 teams that should be here. They and they're gonna come on Friday. We're gonna be treated on Friday to some really, really good softball, Norman.
I think the whole season, the past is prologue, as they say.
Yes.
The whole season is history now, and now the real history is going to be made on Friday.
Who's going in the last spot right here? Last spot before we have to go into our pockets and add another base to this.
And Sandy, I want to thank you because every year World Series time you come on the show. I don't believe in talking to either team on the show the week of the World Series.
Can't do it.
Playoffs is one thing.
Need a professional.
Regular season is another thing. But I need a neutral.
Yes.
I don't need.
And I am neutral.
Nothing. No headlines or anything like that. No bulletin board material. The week of the World Series, he said this, or the guy's going to be too tight.
Yeah.
We need the historian every year World Series. So thank you for coming on the
it's
show.
my pleasure. I love
the
the
next
league.
show will be with the group of champions.
Unbelievable.
That's the next show.
And who knows who it'll be?
It's almost unfair. It's almost unfair you get a lifetime spot from one game, but that's the position both you teams put yourselves in. So you better show up on Friday.
Right here.
If you're ever gonna run out that grounder, if you're ever gonna make that diving play, if you're ever gonna do everything you can, every last ounce, the time is on Friday. Pour it all out because it's for the rest of your life. You get to be on the trophy.
Norman, you do a great job.
Sandy,
The
you do
league
a great
loves you,
job.
and you've been amazing. Your media, your creativity, you give us nachas.
Nachas.
Norman, thank you.
Thank
Yes,
you.
you give us a lot of nachas.
It all comes down to having teams that want to win more than anything.
Everybody treats the league with respect and serious, and
Yeah.
that's what makes it the best league and the best thing that this community has sports-wise.
There you go. For Sandy Shalom, I'm Norman Jamel with the Deal Cup. One more spot waiting to be filled this Friday, and we'll see how history is made.
YMSL
Sandy?
powered by DSN.